I'm starting out in Lightroom, cropping this image in really tight, making some initial adjustments on it, sending it into Photoshop, using Topaz products to denoise and sharpen, and then I'm going to send it into Topaz Studio 2, use Mask AI to blur the background a little bit more, add some detail to the image inside of Topaz Studio 2, a little bit of a vignette around it, and then back into Photoshop. And then, being the fact that my image was cropped so tight, I'm then going to send this image into Gigapixel and upsize it so I can make a 16 by 20 inch print out of it. Hey, let's get started. I'll show you how I did all this. The first thing I want to do with this, and this is straight out of camera, this is camera raw, and I'm starting out in Lightroom here. I'm going to crop it first because, you know, we have Gigapixel and we can go ahead and upsize it to wherever we would like it to be. I'm going to make this a 16 by 20 print. It's kind of like a size I like to make my prints for hanging in my house and things like that. So what I'm going to do is get the crop tool and click on original here and click on 8 by 10. So let me turn my lights out because that's the way I like to crop. So I'm going to type the L key twice, and now let's just crop this image. And you see I have the rule of thirds up on the screen. And basically what I want to do is get my B and get him somewhere near the center here of the frame. And I'm trying to look for the spacing around the top and sides and things like that. I do like this little bit of flower over here. I wish the background was a little more out of focus. I mean, it's totally out of focus, but I'm going to work on that a little bit in Topaz Studio 2. I'm going to use some Mask AI to blur the background a little bit more. And I think this crop, maybe somewhere right around here, looks pretty good. I'm going to turn my lights back on and go ahead and click done to accept that crop. And now I'm not going to use the auto this time. I'm going to do this all manually, this adjustment here. So first off, I'm going to hold the shift key down and double click whites to set a white point, and shift double click the blacks to set a black point here. I'm going to start out with that, and I feel I need a little bit more exposure here. It's a little on the, oh, I'm doing highlights. Sorry about that. Let me double click highlights. Let me pull up the exposure. Grab the wrong control. Oh well, it happens, right? Watching to make sure I'm not clipping here, and I'm clipping a little bit. I'm going to pull back my whites some more. Actually a good bit here, and let's give myself a little more exposure. Maybe something like that, and I'm not clipping, and I still might pull. Now I'm going to pull my highlights back a little bit. Yeah, to pull a little bit of detail up in here. Yes, I definitely want to pull those highlights back somewhat. And I think I'm going to open up the shadows just a little bit. Bring a little more detail out in the little B here. He's working so hard there. And I'm going to see if I can pull some more sharpness out of this with Sharpen AI. And let's see. Do I want any more blacks? No, my blacks are looking good. Right around there. I think that's looking good. Now I don't, on detail, I have my sharpening shut off. I have my noise reduction turned off. I just have my color noise at the default setting for Lightroom. I always use it that way. And I also have my lens corrections turned on, enable profile corrections, remove chromatic aberrations. And also note that I shot this at ISO 400. This was shot with a Canon 40D, so it's not an extremely high megapixel image here, but it's a decent size image. But I'm not concerned, even though I'm cropping in, because I'm going to use Gigapixel AI to upsize this, so it's going to be great. Shot this at a pretty shallow depth of field, f5.6 at 1/320th of a second. I handheld this, and there's a little bit of noise in here. I mean, actually, there's a decent amount of noise. The Canon 40D was not noted for its very low noise floor. And I think I'm good, except I might give this a little bit of vibrance here. Add a little extra color to this image here. So I'm going to pull my vibrance up a little bit. That might be a little too much. And maybe pull my saturation up ever so slightly. Maybe around like a 5, somewhere around there. Let me just take my vibrance and pull it back just a little bit more. Maybe somewhere right around there. And I might just shift my temperature a little bit warmer. Yeah, just slightly warmer, maybe something right around there. I'm going to right click this, edit in, and send this right into Photoshop. And then we'll start the process from there. Alright, first things first, let's make a duplicate layer, Command or Control J, so we can work non-destructively. Let's send this first off into Topaz Labs Denoise AI, which is right here. We'll send it in here, do a little denoising. I think I'm going to use the Denoise AI model because I like it, especially on this Canon 40D. It can be a little tricky with its noise, but you can see right there, it's totally eliminated the noise. Now let's put on auto detect settings here, because I usually like it in auto detect. It does a really good job here. So there's auto detect, and now let's drag this across. And don't forget, this is also sharpening the image as well. So you can see what you see on the right is the after, what you see on the left is the before. But look how it's even sharper. I'm not going to give it any extra sharpness because I'm going to run it next into Sharpen AI. So I'm just going to go ahead and click Apply. And this is real time. It's going to send it right back into Photoshop. And then I'm going to send it right back out of Photoshop into my next plugin, which is under Topaz Labs, and that is Sharpen AI. In Sharpen AI, it does default, and it starts out in the Sharpen model right here, and I have it set for auto. So on the right is the after, on the left is the before. So there's the before, and here's the after. So that's just the straightforward sharpening, and it's doing a really nice job. But let's try it on focus and see what it does here. So let's let it render out in the auto mode here on focus. I have a hunch it's going to be really good. It's almost there. It takes a little longer in this focus mode and in the stabilized mode to render out because it's doing a lot more. But look at that. You know, look at these seeds on here. I guess that's what you call them. But it's nice and sharp here. It might be a little too sharp. There's the before and here's the after. I think what I'll do is I think I'm going to use the focus model because I think everything looks good. I'm going to click it on manual, and I'm going to take the sharpness, and I'm just going to pull the sharpness back a little bit. Let's try around a 40 and see what it does. Give it a second or two to render out here and see if we like this better. Yeah, I think I like that a little bit better right there. Again, here's the before and there's the after. But look at the detail and sharpness in there. It's amazing, and it did not pull any noise up. And it shows a noise reduction of 40. I'm just going to leave it there. I think it's good. I'm going to click apply, and that'll send us back into Photoshop. We're back in Photoshop. I want to duplicate the background layer, Command or Control J, so we can work non-destructively. I'm going to send it back out into another plugin, one of my favorites, Topaz Studio 2. And inside of here, I'm going to launch Mask AI first, just to blur the background a little bit, and then we're going to do some other things in Topaz Studio 2. So I'm coming up here to Filters and Plugins, and let's launch Mask AI. And we're just going to do a simple blurring of the background. And I love Mask AI for blurring out the background. I'm starting out with the compute brush and just drawing around the edge of my flower and bee here. And because that's the area I want to keep. Green stands for keep. Blue stands for compute. And red stands for cut. And they call this a tri-map. So all I need to do now, you know, I have green in the center and I have blue around the edge of the flower. Now I'm going to click this bucket of red paint right here. Click it. That's my cut area. I'm in the mask mode of AI, which is artificial intelligence. There's two modes, artificial intelligence and contrast. Artificial intelligence is a more elaborate masking algorithm, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to click on compute mask. The contrast would have been the same model that they had in the old Remask program, which was really great too. But this one's a little bit better. Okay, so there's my flower here. So the next thing I want to do is click on background. I love this feature. See right here, none, blur, color, and image. We can put a different image in the background if we wanted to, but in my case, I just want to blur the background. So I'm going to click on blur. And just like that, my background is blurred. Now I still have my tri-map over here, so if I click show tri-map right here and click that off, I can see the image, okay, without the tri-map, which will help me here. And now we have blur strength. We can adjust this blur strength to any strength that we want, okay? And I don't want to go crazy here. I want it to look natural. I just want to blur a little bit. Maybe somewhere Maybe somewhere right around in there, I think looks good. Now we can zoom into our bee here, and I'll take your time here. I'll miss some things here, I'm sure, because I'm doing a tutorial here, and when I'm doing this just for my own edits, I'm going to take my time and not mess up at all. So I'm going to click on mask right now, and I'm going to get my green keep brush right here. Click on it. Make my brush a little bit smaller, and you'll see why here in a second. So I'm going to analyze the image here and see if it missed anything. Okay, everything looks pretty good here. Like this area of the bee, the second portion of a wing here, it missed. So if I just paint with my green paint right down along here, watch how it'll take a second because I'm in the artificial intelligence mode right now. The first swap takes a little bit longer, but look, it put it right in, and it looked like it missed a little spot right here. So I'm just going to paint green over that. And maybe right there it missed a little spot too. Really good. Okay, so then just look around your edges. Now if I hold my space bar down, I have the hand tool, so we can really look around here and see if we missed anything. So just look carefully around the edges. Hey, let me know if I missed something. I'm just going to paint right here, see if I missed anything there. Yeah, I did. Let's just paint around this edge right here. And it just magically fills in. Look, it missed a little spot right there. And it missed a spot there when I painted there, so I'll just paint right there. And, you know, you just go around like that, and you just fill in any spots that it missed. So I'm looking here, around here. That looks pretty good. And it only has to look believable. See right here, there's a little area right there, but, you know, I could bring that back in if I wanted to. I don't really actually need it, though. Whoops, and when I did that, you notice I lost a little bit right here. So, right like so. I think that's good. Let me zoom back out. And I think I'm good. Again, I may have missed some spots, but take your time, get it right, really analyze it. But I think I'm pretty good, and I think I'm happy with it. I don't think I missed any of the bee here. He looks good. I like the background. But look at the left image is the original, and the right is with that little softer background. Let me go back to background, and I might just soften that background up a little bit more. Let's take it up to around a 26. Yeah, something like that. It's a nice, beautiful, soft bokeh. Yeah, I'm going to settle with that. I'm going to click Apply, and that'll send us back into Topaz Studio 2 in a second. But watch when I click Apply here, I'm going to get an option here to send this out as transparent or composite. Make sure you click on Composite. That'll send it out with a blurred background. And there it is. Now, it comes equipped with a mask, so if it missed anything here, I could mask it in. For instance, if I said, you know what, I want to bring a little bit of this sharpness back in on this stem here, I'll just show you a little trick here. Click on this mask and get a brush, and let's just take this transparency, and I'm going to take it about halfway up and watch. I'm going to shut my edge wear off because I want everything to be smooth here. My softness is at 50, that's good. My radius is this size right here, and what I'm going to do is just paint right down along this stem here, like so. And see, just add a little bit of that back in there. If I felt I blurred that a little bit too much, I can just fix that right like that. So you have masking here, so you can fix things. And even if you messed up in your mask a little bit, you can paint it back in by using the layer mask. I just noticed, look, I missed a little bit on my mask job. I was a little too fast inside of Mask AI, but look, all I have to do is get my brush and make sure my transparency is on black, make my radius smaller on my brush, and I have my edge wear turned. Let's turn it on here, and watch. I'm just going to drag right over here, and look, I fixed it. So that is a lifesaver right there, having that mask on, the Mask AI layer right there. Really cool stuff. I'm going to do one more or two more things. I'm going to add filter. I'm going to get a vignette. I'm going to put a little bit of a pink vignette around it. So I'm going to click on color right here on the drop down and get the eyedropper tool. But before I do that, I'm going to pull the opacity the whole way back, so none of the areas around here are dark. I'm going to get the eyedropper tool and pick one of these pink colors, like around the edge right here. Click OK, and now I'm going to pull my opacity up. And see what that does. It's just putting a little bit of pink softness around the edge here. And I could adjust the size here, make it a little bit larger. And I think I will, maybe somewhere right around there. And then I can move it around with this if I needed to. I'm just going to leave it in the center because I think it looks good right in the center, and I like that. And that's that, but that's a really cool feature. Let me shut this off by clicking this eyeball. There's the before and there's the after. Pretty nice, right? And one last thing I'm going to do is click Add Filter and go to Precision Detail. I'm going to start out, I'm going to take, and I'm just looking at the bee and these little yellow seeds, I guess, on the flower right here. I'm going to check the small detail out first, pull up on the small detail on the overall, and just pull some extra detail out in there. Not worrying about the rest of the image, and let's just play with the medium, see if that helps at all. If anything, a very small amount. And how about large? Do I want any large detail? I mean, if anything, a very small amount there. Now I'm going to come up to the layer mask, click on the layer mask, invert the layer mask, and then I'm just going to get my brush. So click on your brush, make sure you're on white paint, and adjust your radius size. I'm just going to leave it at the default size. Edge aware is turned on, softness is at 50, and watch. I'm just going to paint in on the areas that are in focus on these seeds right here. Check that out on the bee right here. I'm not going everywhere, just on the sharp parts of the bee. I'm going to make my radius a little bit smaller now, and this area of the bee right in here, just a little bit of the sharper area. I just want to pull out a little extra detail in there, and I'm going to say that's good enough. I'm going to leave it at that and just go ahead and click accept, and that'll send us right back into Photoshop. I want to show you something amazing. I'm going to zoom into this image right here, okay? And let me show you the before. This will blow your mind. I'm going to hold the Option key down and click on the background. Here's the before. Look how blurry that looked. And I thought that looked sharp before, but now look at it. Isn't that amazing? Man, Topaz, Denoise AI, and Sharpen AI, it's truly remarkable. Again, one more time. Here's the before and here's the after. Pretty crazy, right? I just had to show that to you. Let me show you something else now. I'm going to put my rulers on so you can see the size of this image. I'm going to use the shortcut Command or Control R to put the rulers up. And I'm going to drag down. Now this is, first off, you're seeing the inches here. So this picture is, the height is 6.2 inches. And all I'm doing is dragging out from the ruler and a guide comes out. And the cool thing about Photoshop is these guides will let you know the actual size when you hit the edge here, because it'll lock on your edge. And it's 7.867 roughly. Okay, so that's the inches dimension. And if I right click on the ruler and change it to pixels, we can see that this image is a 2832 pixel wide by, let's see, by 2266 high. So I'm going to go ahead and save this out. I'm going to go to the top layer, right click it, and click flatten image, because that's what I like to do. I just flatten my images out, or I could save it as, you know, with layers intact if I wanted to. And then I'm going to hit Command or Control S, depending if you're on a Mac or PC. That'll save it back into the folder that it originally came from. And then I'm just going over to Lightroom, and you'll see here is the image inside of Lightroom. I saved my image out of Lightroom and put it in a special folder where I could find it. So I'm just going to go ahead. I have Gigapixel opened up here, Gigapixel AI. I'm going to click Open, and this is my file browser, and here's my image right here. I'm just going to double click it. That opens it up inside of Gigapixel AI. The image on the right is the preview of the upsize, and the image on the left will be the original. Okay, and I want to make this a 16 by 20 inch print, right? And it'll make me a perfect size for a 16 by 20 inch print. All I have to do is click on width. And remember, this started out as a 8 by 10 image or a 4 by 5 aspect ratio. And so what I'm going to do is click on pixels here and change that to inches. And I'm going to change my PPI because I'm going to print this out myself on my Epson printer. So my Epson printer likes 360 pixels, so I'm going to type 360 for the pixels, and then I have to change my size to the width is going to be a 20 inch wide image, so I'll type 20. hit the return key, and it will make a new preview showing me what my result will be here. And I'm zoomed into 100%. So the image on the left is the original image, and the image on the right is the upsize image. And then all I need to do is make sure my settings are set right here. I have face refinement, defaults it off, so I'm leaving that off. I'm going to put my model on auto, because I usually like to start out in auto and see what I get here. There's auto, and I think that looks good. Now you can take this and you can move it around or do whatever you want to view different areas of your image here. And there you go. And now if you click on manual here, you can see the settings it chose. So if I felt that was too sharp, which I really don't think so, because the results you get when you print are amazing, but I could pull the remove blur back a little bit, which is the sharpness, and that would take some of the sharpness off. But I think it looks good, and I'm going to accept it right there. Now all I need to do is click on save, and I'm going to save it as the original, preserve the original source format, and I'm going to preserve the original color profile, which was ProPhoto RGB. And let's see, and I'm going to send it to this custom directory, which I already have set up, where I send my gigapixel images into, gigapixel AI upconverted, and then I'm just going to click on save. And it's going to save out my image, and when it's done, I'll let you know how long it took. I'm back in Photoshop. Here's my original print, the original, it's around a 8 by 6.5, somewhere around there. And now let's click on my gigapixel upsized image. As you can see here, let me drag down this guide so we can see it is, 16-inch high by 20 inches wide. And I'll print that out and I'll get a perfect print out of it. Well, there you have it, my full workflow tutorial, starting out in Lightroom, moving into Photoshop and Topaz products. I hope you enjoyed this one today. If you enjoyed this video today, please give it a like and share it with your friends. If you're not yet a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe and click the bell notification icon. And then every time I upload a new tutorial, you'll be notified about it.